Emotional fitness. I love that word. When people think about fitness, they typically think about exercising and eating right. But what is emotional fitness? That's when you make your emotions become stronger and build that muscle of feeling of how you feel about yourself and life and how do you communicate and socialize with others. So it's not only about your body and eating right. I did some research online about emotional fitness and there had so many comments that I think I can share that later, but I can explain some things today that are good about emotional fitness. So, one of the things I found is that emotional fitness is when you have a good handle of challenges that life throws at you. For example, the death of a family member, a divorce, conflict with friends, losing a job, things that happen in life. If you can't handle those things, it means that your emotional fitness is not strong. So you have to work on building strong emotions so you can handle life challenges. We talked about triggers, when people push those hot buttons, those issues that just set you off. How do you control those situations? Controlling those feelings takes practice, it's fitness. So, what do? Do you count or do you take a walk outside? Do you have all of those tools to where you're ready to deal with those situations? People not appreciating the boundaries, but what works for you? It's not easy. You have to practice. Again, it's fitness so you can become stronger emotionally. It also talks about relationships in general, friendship, family, spouses, partners. There will be conflicts. It happens, it's normal. But how do you change those conflict to become something positive? Do you think of others' best interests? Do you put them before yourself? Can you help others? All of that takes practice. Sometimes we grow up thinking that about ourselves, how we are independent, but we rarely think of others. We don't think twice and how our actions affect other people. That kind of thing. Sometimes you have to put a stop to it and think about it and practice. It's all about emotional fitness. Something to think about is part of the overall health because if your emotions are not in a good place, it can affect your health. It can affect your motivation. It can affect your posture, your heart, your health in general. All the feelings that you keep inside are toxic and it can affect everything in life, including your mind and the way you think. It's just not healthy. It doesn't matter if you eat right or you exercise. You have to have an overall health of mind, heart, and body. So you just exercise. I'm still learning every day. Like today, someone just triggered and pushed my buttons, and I had to talk with my husband about how I shouldn't let people push my buttons. It affects my judgment and how I approach things and my patience, my friendly and nice. Typically I am, but when someone pushes my buttons, it's different. My approach is different, and I would like to reduce that. And I have to exercise to become stronger and practice and do a lot of talking. And it's all about fitness, right? So I hope you all have a good night. I have talked about emotion fitness in the past and how exercising is not only for your body, you can also exercise your emotions as well as your mind. And exercising those things can help you have strong and healthy emotions. It's almost as if you have a clean body that's away from hatred, anger, disgust, any resentments, or any grudges that you've been holding on to. The feelings that you get to keep in can affect your body and its biology. The emotions affect your health and your spirit. So, this is why I think it's very important to be able to exercise your emotions. And you can do that by going through counseling and letting out all of those feelings. It's like going to the gym. Sometimes when you go to the gym, you don't feel that great, but after a while, you feel good. Counseling is the same. After you go for a while, you finally learn about yourself and learn about your emotions. There's a word I've learned. I've actually known this word, but I see it being used more often now. And that word is unpacking. You get to unpack all of those feelings. It's like opening up a box and unpacking everything. You get to unpack the old issues and the baggage that you have probably been holding on for years. When you unpack, you're cleaning yourself. And it's the same as working out. People tend to have that one food that they eat often when they're sad or down. They get to eat that. And the way that they unpack that is by getting rid of all of the unhealthy things that are in their bodies. And it's the same with the emotions. So there was a recent shooting, and some kids and some adults were killed. I believe it was about 26 people who died. And ever since I learned about the news, I have been so depressed and heartbroken. But I think about those people, those who are on the other side, and I think about what was going on through the mind of the shooter. And I feel like they're just disconnected from reality. I mean, I'm sure that they're mentally ill, but in general, people who hurt themselves or hurt others are typically going through depression and they're mentally ill and they just carry all of these issues inside of them that ultimately affects the way they think. So what I'm trying to say is when you exercise your emotions, you don't allow yourself to get to that level of depression or becoming mentally ill. Like if I share my story, back in 2003, when I started grad school, I was seeking a degree in rehab counseling. So I'll be working with people with disabilities or vocational rehab. So I went to school, and the first assignment that was given to me was to counsel myself first. And that's because you can't really counsel other people until you do some self analysis and you're healthy enough to help others. It's the same rule with love yourself first, so then you can love others. So during the first 6 months to a year, I had to do a lot of self analysis. I had to open up on a daily basis with a classmate and we will practice counseling. I had to talk about real issues and we will practice counseling on one another. And we had to know how to do it right, the right approach, theories, and counseling. After recording ourselves, we had to type up a transcript of the things that happened and opening up. Then we had to watch our videos and watch our body language and reactions. It's very interesting. I had to translate it into English. I had to talk about my emotions in writing. It was quite an experience. People say that you should try to write your feelings and emotions in a diary. I tend to vlog, but you get to express your thoughts and feelings. And when you read it, you understand what's going on inside. You get to notice a pattern. And in my experience, when I saw the video and with all the transcripts that I had to do, all the feelings that I was unpacking and the issues, I noticed that there was a little bit of depression that I never experienced in the past. And I'm not looking down on other people who didn't think that I had an issue or depression. And those who are sad and have problems, I understand, I get it. Unpacking that depression can help you clean your feelings. It's like getting rid of all the toxins in your body. You let everything out, you let your emotions out, all of that depression, and it's amazing. I mean, I had to get used to that. If I wanted to cancel professionally, that was my goal. There's a process of self analysis that I had to do. And seeing it from another perspective, it is very important that you get to do it for anyone. Whether your depression is not a big deal or you have some serious depression problems, it's like going to the gym. Anyone can benefit from going to the gym, whether you're old and not doing much, but doing some. If you're overweight and working out. If you're young, I don't know, 14, 15, any race, gender, anyone benefits from working out. And it's the same with counseling for your health. It's good to have that support. You will always benefit from it. And for those who have problems and think that you're fine, you can become stronger if you seek some counseling. You get to analyze yourself and become strong. You know, and when you reach that level, it's always good to keep going. There's not a limit. It's good for survival. When you face conflict in life or taking the first step, it's always good to look at your issues from a different perspective. They get, I get to write it or sign it, and then I realize that I can make important decisions, like, for instance, getting married. For those of you who know, I was always against marriage for many, many years. I did not look at marriage as a thing. I thought that it was something in the system that failed. There's so many divorces. I think the rate is 75%. I mean, I don't really pay attention, but I'm taking a guess. I know it's a high percentage of divorce. And it's the same thing with surgery. 75% chance you can die. Would you do the surgery? Of course not. The rate is high. But I always wonder, why get married when the percentage of divorce is so high? I just thought it was not a great thing to do, but I've always had strong opinions, but I was persuaded in a class when I went to RIT. There was a lecture that was given that got me thinking. And, I never wanted to have children. I never thought it was a good idea to bring kids into the world and expose them to everything. So I did not want to get married and have any children. Also, I did not want to be with anyone who was hearing. I thought that if the person wasn't deaf, it wouldn't work. But that was my opinion at the time. I'm sorry, my computer fell asleep, so I'm back. Anyway, my point is that now I'm married, my husband is hearing, we have children, and we have been together. And, I used to not believe in marriage, and we have been together for a while. And, my perspective has changed over the years, and it conflicted with my values and beliefs. And the first thing I did was seek some counseling. And the reason why I was against it was so clear, and the reason why I felt so strongly about it helped me become more flexible and do some self analysis. And, my husband and I arrived at the decision of getting married. Oh my gosh, that was my husband who just walked in. Whew, he doesn't even know what I'm talking about. So, anyway, for any of you who are going through a journey and have all of these emotions, depression, it's important to have support. Just like how you would when you go to the gym. If you get hurt, if you're sore, or something happens, they provide physical therapy so you become strong. And it's the same thing with emotions. If you experience someone's death, you should go seek some support and build yourself to the level where your mind, your spirit, and your emotions are healthy. So I think I'm gonna cut out the video right here. I will see you soon.